The case is the delayed part because of weather, so I can't do anything. So right now, I am sitting in my house just waiting for the UPS man to show up with the case so I can get started. Refresh. Refresh. Awesome. Hey guys, my name is Luke Brown, and if you're new here, this is the channel where I try to learn something new every week. This week, I'm trying to learn how to build a PC. Last week, I did all my research, I ordered the parts, and today I am waiting for everything to show up so I can get started. As I wait for this case, I am so excited to get started. The case was the last thing to show up, and it's finally here. So, let's do this. All right, so here is all of the equipment. Toshiba 240 gigabytes solid state drive that hopefully still works. I got an AMD Ryzen 1700X processor, just a Hyper 212 Cooler Master fan for the processor and motherboard. A GTX 1080, I got this, it was by PNY. 32 gigs of DDR4 RAM. X370 Tai Chi motherboard. A 650 watt G3 power supply. And last but not least, I got the Fractal R5 case. I'm gonna try to figure out what I'm doing. I got some YouTube tutorials for me and hopefully to get her figured out. I have opened up the case. I've opened up the boxes with all the parts in it. And now I have this really confusing mess of cables and manuals. There's like 10 of these and I don't have any idea what I'm doing. I looked through the guides a little bit and it looks like the case guide is the one that we want to start with. It seems like what we're putting it in would be the best instruction manual to follow at first, at least in what order to install things in. Like the first step, it says install the power supply. So I think what I'll do is, okay, power supply first, here's where it goes, then get out the power supply manual and look at that to see like the best installation instructions. It's going to be a lot of cycling back and forth between these manuals, but I think it's the best option. So I'm going to set all this aside for now and get these cables, try to figure out what these cables are and what they're used for. The tools I'm using, I have a small screwdriver set that has some really small heads in it, and I'm going to be using that for kind of the more technical or small screws, you know. So that, I think I got this for like 20 bucks on Amazon about a year ago, and this screwdriver set is incredible. The other two things are simply these two bigger screwdrivers for some of the bigger, heavier lifting. So I just have a flat and a Phillips. So the first thing is going to be the power supply. So this is my 650 watt G3 EVGA Supernova power supply. And that's going to go right down here in the bottom. Okay, I guess this just goes right in the back here. Make sure the cables are out of the way. All right, so it lines up perfect. I got these 4 screws here. Okay, so here is the back of the computer where the power supply screws in, and I'll show you a place I already screwed up. This case is made to use a bunch of different power supplies, and I put a screw in there where it clearly needed to go in there. I didn't hurt anything, but just another example, be careful of this stuff and make sure you look at what you're doing, because I didn't, and I could have really screwed something up there. So the holes I need are there, 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 and there. Okay, so now I'm going to take my Ryzen processor here and mount it in the motherboard. And I'm kind of nervous about this part because I guess you can bend the pins over if you're not careful. So I guess you're just supposed to drop it in just like that. It doesn't move. And then you put that little bar down. Cool, it's secure. So now we're going to go ahead and put our fan in. I guess I got to mount these screws here, and then the fan is going to mount to this. Now I guess I have to use this stuff called thermal paste that goes between the processor and the fan. And it looks kind of like glue, so you're supposed to put like a dime size drop on here. I'm going to put that on there just like that. and should be pretty good. So now I just press the fan against this and we should be good to go. All right, careful now. Try to line this up as good as we can. I think we only kind of have one shot at this. All right, so now I'm just gonna bolt this down and see how it works. So my understanding on this RAM is that it's kind of difficult to screw up because the slots are off center, so it only goes in one way. And I guess the slots, there's 4 slots, and each motherboard is going to be different, but this one says to put my type of RAM in slots 2 and 4. So this is kind of hard to work around the already put in fan here, but here's a lesson I learned. Of course you shouldn't force anything very hard on these projects, but the ASRock, the instruction manual that came with this motherboard, said that both ends of these fins right here open up to push the RAM in and then they close. That's not true. I had to get really close and look, but these ones down here do not have a hinge on them. If I would have just pulled until they snapped open, I would have broke part of the motherboard, so I really don't recommend that. One thing about working with stuff that's this expensive, you really don't want to screw it up. Got her. All right, time to give this motherboard a try in here. This part actually makes me super nervous. Is that easy? Hey! All the screw holes are lined up. Back is fit in there. Perfect. All right, our motherboard is in place. We got our fan mounted, we got a RAM on there. I think the next thing we're gonna do is put in the GPU. Here we got our GeForce GTX 1080. So we're gonna put that in there. This thing is so much bigger than I thought it was gonna be. All right, so as far as I know, let's go down in there. All right, so it just popped down in there. Right over here is where you put the screws to hold it in place a little bit better. These bays over here. So now we got our GTX 1080 mounted, and it's actually going together pretty well. Our next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put in our solid state drive, and that is on the back side of this machine. So I just found a mistake. I got to looking at the place back here where the ports all come out. There's something bent over the USB 3.1. That is definitely not supposed to be there. I don't know what that is, but now I need to take the entire motherboard back out to figure that out. Okay, so I think I found the culprit. It's a piece of metal that's bent down over the port. So I think if I just bend it back up, it should be okay. So now I put my motherboard back in place. The screws are lined up, and that was weird. That would have stunk to get everything put together and then have that in there. All right, so I got the plate here. Does it go under it? No, I can't go under it. It doesn't really fit. So it goes on here, on the outside. Oh, through the back. Okay. I probably want my cables. Yeah, I need to mount it so that the cables can come right up through here. Okay. Oh, crap. All right, don't lose your screws. You don't want to have a screw loose. That's dumb. Now we're going to do our 1 terabyte drives. All right, and those go on the back side over here. You can put a lot of hard drive space in this thing. Holy cow. Found out all you need to do to mount these is get these little rubber rings that help mount it in there. I think that, let's see, does that line up? Yeah, that lines up. Hey, it's in there. That's all it takes. All right. So at this point, our 2 terabytes are in there and ready to go. So really, that's the last of the parts we have to put in there. And now it's just figuring out where cables go. For me, this is probably the most intimidating part. Like, what if I plug something in wrong and then my GTX 1080 ends up fried? You know, that's a $600 mistake. So I guess I'm just gonna look it over as much as I can, be as careful as I can, and hope it works. That is a big frickin' cable. Jeez. So I think I have everything connected, and I think it's in the right spots. I hope it is. So I guess now I need to get some zip ties and kind of place everything, tie all the cables kind of right where I need them so that they're all clean and out of the way. Perfect. Sweet. I found some Velcro straps that actually came with the case. Perfect. All right. I think that's it. Everything's connected and everything looks pretty good. It's time to give it a try. I am really nervous about this because I feel like if I have something wrong in here and I plug it in and turn the power on, it's just like gonna explode. I know that's probably not gonna happen. I know computers probably don't explode, but it kind of worries me that I'm gonna fry something. But I guess I've double and triple checked everything, and everything seems to be in the right spot, so it's time to try it. So the power switch back here, there's an off switch back here, so I plug it in and then I hit the on switch. So here we go. There's little lights in there. Nothing popped. Whoa, they changed colors. Oh, it's not on. But hey, it works. So now I'm gonna hook it up to a monitor and we're gonna see what comes up. All I had to do to get this computer going was I got a jump drive and I got a bootable operating system, Windows 10, 64-bit on here, and I plugged it into the computer and ran the installer, and it works perfect. So I have Windows 10 on my machine right now. And this is the thing that has always annoyed me about any software. Like when you buy it and it comes with this bloatware, like I don't play Candy Crush, I never have, and there are like 3 versions of Candy Crush on Windows right now, and I already deleted 2 of them. There's this junk on here that I just have to go through now and uninstall all the bloat crap that I don't need. I'm going to download Microsoft Office, all the things I need, and we'll see how it works.
The next morning.
So last night I downloaded Photoshop, Microsoft Word, music editor, all this different stuff. I downloaded DaVinci Resolve, which was what I'm going to use for video editing now. And everything is incredibly fast. Right now, I'm gonna throw up some benchmark scores that I got on the 3 computers that I own. Geekbench is a program that tells you how fast your computer might be stacked up to others. So what I found is my new computer is extremely fast and works really well. The video you're going to be watching is going to be edited on my new PC, so we'll see how it turns out. So this week's project, I would say, was a big success. This computer is awesome. I can't wait to use it. I can't wait to try out a bunch of different programs on it, even more than I have already. And it was a really fun project to do all the research for, to learn how to build it, to learn how everything worked. I have already gotten requests from about 3 people in my area to build one for them after they saw my first video, because they say they've been wanting to do it for a while, so they want me to help them build it. It's a lot of fun. This is a fun project. Like I said, the websites I used for researching what I was going to buy, those are all in the last video, so if you haven't already, check that one out. All the videos I used for assembly, cable management, all that stuff, I'm going to link down below so that you guys have some more specific instructions on how to do that if you want to. Yeah, so this was a ton of fun. If you guys like this video, like, share it, subscribe. I'd love for you guys to stick around and watch the future videos. And if you guys have built a PC in the past or are going to build one, let me know like what equipment you use. Let me know how it turned out for you. I'd love to hear your guys' experience too with building a PC. That's going to do it for this video. So until next time, I will see you next week.